Welcome back to Ozarks Live. Tom is over at the Resource Center with Disability Rep Roy Rickstrew.
Tom, what's important to know about our medical records?
Oh, good question. There are so many things that are important to know about medical records when it comes to filing for disability. Here's the man who can give us the answers on that. Roy, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Your disability rep. Now, as we get through with this interview, remember there's a QR code. If you want to take a shot of that, it'll get you connected with him and his advice. Okay, medical records. Checkups. Just like you, your medical records need a checkup.
That's right. We're going to do two parts on this. So this show and another show. So a couple things there. If it looks like a rerun, it's not. So what we talk about here is medical records obviously speak to the things that are wrong with us according to the records from a medical standpoint.
Right.
But there's a lot of things that we can kind of read between the lines and see in the medical records that give us insight, or at least we think it does, about our condition and how seriously we're taking it.
And the people who are making the decisions, they read between the lines fairly well.
They do, they do. And things jump out when you read medical records when you're trying to evaluate a case. And, you know, if you think about this kind of in the context, if you were going to loan somebody money, one of the first things we do is we look at how nice their shoes are, we look at what car they're driving, we try to look and see if the story checks out and if they truly need to borrow the money. And unfortunately, that's what happens a lot of times here too. And so when we see things in the record like not taking your medication that's prescribed, not being open to surgery or to physical therapy, you know, a lot of times people will go in for a surgical consultation, say, I'm not going to have surgery. Well, you can't rule it out in the very beginning.
Right.
If you do, we wonder how much that condition is really troubling you. Same thing comes up with braces and canes and boots. You know, I see in records all the time, people are prescribed canes, especially men. They don't want to carry them. They're embarrassed by them. They don't show up at the doctor's office, and we start wondering, is the cane really a medical necessity or not?
Yeah, how serious are you about this, really?
And then, of course, following through on the referrals that the doctor gives us. We've talked before, you want to be hungry for an answer. You want to be diligent in trying to get better.
And again, sometimes the things that you're not doing can be as important as the things you are doing.
And these are even simple things, right? If you have high blood pressure, it's out of control, you're told to take blood pressure checks and keep a log at home.
Right.
People don't do it. They don't check their blood sugars. They go in and the doctor says, how have your blood sugars been trending? And they don't know. Well, it just shows that you're disinterested and you're not diligent. Not following diet recommendations, continuing to smoke when you've been encouraged not to. Those type of things also pop in the medical records, especially if you've got some sort of a lung condition, COPD, and you're smoking. Right off the bat, that COPD doesn't look as bad as maybe it is because of the fact that you're non-compliant with the care.
Now, when you say diet plans, what are you referring to there?
Yeah, so there's a lot of conditions that we just want people to start trying to regulate what they eat, for example.
Okay.
You think about diabetes, you know, you'll have folks that continue to drink 3 or 4 Mountain Dews a day despite the fact that the doctors told them not to. Not really so much talking weight loss here.
Right.
Social Security doesn't really get too bent out of shape about weight
Your
loss.
overall diet.
Right, but the things that you should be avoiding, you need to be avoiding.
Yeah, alcohol is one of those when it comes to sugars, of course.
It
and
is.
Things like that.
It is indeed.
All right.
And then not doing your homework. This is more on the psychological side of things. A lot of times counselors will give us journaling responsibilities. They want us to write down our feelings, write down our experiences. They give us situational workbooks and say, imagine yourself, you know, a family member disappointed you, how do you respond to that? They give them homework, honest to goodness homework. And a lot of times you'll see the counselor will record that they didn't bring their homework, they didn't follow through with it.
Situational workbook, relationship exercises.
Yeah, and you'll see that a lot of times too. You'll have, you know, women that are in rough situations with men, boyfriends, husbands, what have you. The counselor and them will formulate a plan. You need to set boundaries, you need to talk to them, and then it never happens. Again, it just kind of looks like you're not diligent in trying to follow through and make things better for yourself.
Following through seems to be the overarching kind of phrase to remember.
It is in this regard for sure, and that's one of the things that I see in records that can kill a case pretty quickly. A judge asks a person in a hearing, did you go and get this surgical consultation, and you say no. Right then and there you can feel the whole theme or vibe of that hearing changes dramatically sometimes.
Right. Okay, now there's the QR code that I mentioned at the beginning. You can scan that, get the information you need. Of course, they can call you right here.
They can. 417-812-6698 is direct to my desk. I filled my own calls. I enjoy talking with folks. Give me a ring.
Yeah, and a good idea because he'll tell you what you kind of need to bring to the table right from the get-go, so you don't have the worries. He'll help you out. Yeah, your disability rep, Roy Rickstrew, right here at, here he is, at the Resource Center. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Tom. You have to stay up to date on all this stuff, and the Resource Center is the perfect place to go and make sure you're up to date on.
Yeah, I love that there's an expert that can walk you through it because it seems so confusing to me.
Yes, they do the hard work for
Yep.
you.